often overlooked issue in law enforcement officers and first responders around the country. Here in the Pittsburgh area, men and women on the front lines, along with mental health professionals, are raising awareness about the dangers if these issues go unaddressed.
Tonight, in the first installment of our series, The Weight of the Call, we want to warn you that some of the stories told here will be difficult to hear. Here's reporter Sheldon Ingram.
Occupational stress. It is actually attacking the mental health of first responders. That is the chilling message from the Centers for Disease Control, and it can lead to disturbing outcomes like PTSD, anxiety, and even suicide. Mark Nebo was a Pittsburgh police officer for 12 years before retiring in 2019. He shares the moment when he came close to committing suicide.
My apartment was a mess. It looked like a bomb went off inside. Like I wasn't showering, I wasn't cooking, I wasn't doing my laundry, I wasn't taking the trash out. And I was just on the couch with all the shades drawn in a dark apartment.
He says his years of stress and anxiety as a police officer and a broken relationship pushed him into excessive drinking and a feeling of emptiness. One day, he tried to end it all while intoxicated.
I went to my gun cabinet, pulled out my Glock 43 and set it on my lap and passed out.
Nebo was feeling the same mental trauma that wears down thousands of first responders. They lend their voices.
On a daily basis, first responders see things that the human brain isn't meant to see.
As a first responder, you're under a greater stress and pressure that the everyday person is not.
One day could be a very mild day where you don't see much at all, but the next day you could have a shooting, a stabbing, a rape, all on the same shift.
Nebo says there was one horrific event that was the first domino to shake his confidence and sense of well-being.
We had 3 officers murdered up in Stanton Heights on April 4th of 2009.
Officers Eric Kelly, Stephen Maley, and Paul Shulo were ambushed and murdered one by one when responding to a domestic call.
It was all over the news back then. They basically got assassinated. For them to get taken out like that in a manner that was so premeditated and planned and orchestrated, it just destroyed my world.
He's not alone. Here's retired Pittsburgh firefighter Jeff Lofer. He was also left mentally and emotionally unstable after answering a particular call. Howard Street in Shadyside, when a woman jumped from a high-rise building.
She jumped from the 5th floor trying to commit suicide, but landed on her feet. I remember her tibia and fibia sticking out, both her femurs were sticking out, and she was awake, conscious, crying, screaming, and you couldn't, like, all you saw was red. It was just, her whole face was blood.
That same trauma is felt by these people.
Do you want me to keep you on the line, or are you okay until help arrives?
They are the unseen first responders, call takers, and dispatchers for Allegheny County Emergency Services. They hear things the public should never hear.
Scary things on the phone. A violent domestic on the phone where someone's getting beaten, or if we hear someone take their last breath, you can hear someone gasping for air. You can hear the fire crackling in the background. You can hear the screams of people involved if they're trapped inside a building.
Each person can take up to 60 traumatic calls in one shift. It takes a toll, adding up to what is known as call-taking fatigue.
We're sitting in a center today that's going to see 4,000 to 5,000 911 calls in 24 hours.
Dr. Sheila Roth is a licensed clinical social worker, a therapist who treats only first responders.
The average person in life may have seen 1 or 2 traumatic events. First responders see thousands of traumatic events in a career, and so they see not only the physical trauma of events, but also the emotional trauma.
Yeah, we're gonna have to string your leg, we're gonna put something on it to help with the pain, okay? Then we'll get you in the ambulance, all right?
If you're in EMS, you're in the back of that ambulance with that person on the way to the hospital, and they're saying things to you like, am I gonna die?
Oh my God, help me, Jesus. Help me, Jesus.
Roth says first responders have no time to decompress what happened the day before.
So they go home from their shift, but it takes at least 18 hours for the adrenaline and the cortisol that kept them where they needed to be to come out of their system. And guess where they are? They're back at work.
Before they know it, They're confronted with a mental health crisis or PTSD.
There's statistics that show that alcohol abuse, substance abuse, divorce, domestic violence, and suicide are much higher in folks who have careers in public safety. I turned to booze, alcohol.
Probably drinking a fifth to a fifth and a half a day, you know, back in like 2009, 2010, 2011. In 2023, when I went to rehab, I was drinking over a half gallon a day.
And there's something else to consider. The consequences when first responders don't seek help for their mental health. That is the focus of the next report of this three-part series, covering Allegheny County in Pittsburgh. Sheldon Ingram, Pittsburgh's Action News 4.
The eye-opening report there, Sheldon. And as Sheldon mentioned, the weight of the call continues tomorrow. Our next installment will air again on Pittsburgh's Action News 4 at 5:30 tomorrow.